Hungary joined the European Union in 2004. It was one of 8 nations in Central and Eastern Europe which agreed to be governed under EU laws. But in recent years, Brussels and Budapest have not seen eye to eye. The Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán says his policies are based on conservative, Christian and patriotic values, while many in the EU and elsewhere say his government promotes homophobic, xenophobic and anti-democratic, even authoritarian values. The European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen has called Hungary's new law on LGBTQ rights shameful. The Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte says Hungary has no place in the EU anymore, while Luxembourg's Foreign Minister has called for a referendum on whether Hungary should even remain part of the EU. But what's been the response from the Hungarian government? Its Foreign Minister says these remarks are fueled by what he calls Hungrophobia. So, after the UK's exit from the European Union, could there now be a Huxit? The Hungarian Foreign Minister, Mr. Péter Szijjártó, talks to Aljazeera. Péter Szijjártó, Foreign Minister of Hungary, thank you for talking to Aljazeera and talking to us again. This is the 3rd time I've had you on this programme, and it seems that every time that I sit down with you, your country is involved in a major row with the rest of the European Union. Right now, it's about teaching of LGBTQ issues in school. We'll discuss that in a moment. But first, why does Hungary always seem to find itself in dispute with what are supposed to be your closest allies?
Look, the European Union has been faced with tremendous challenges in the recent years because of many reasons, because of the migratory pressure, because of economic issues, because of the answers to the pandemic, because of the different approaches about how the future European Union should look like, whether it should be a federalistic one or more based on strong member states. So it's kind of natural currently in the European Union that there are debates going on. And sometimes debates are more emotional than they should be. It has personal reasons, it has structural reasons. But, you know, you say that we are in a row with Brussels, with the European institutions. The thing is that there's a procedure in the European Union which is called the infringement, which means that if you are not aligning with some common regulation, then a procedure is being launched against you. And we are somewhere in the middle in the European Union regarding the number of these procedures. If I'm not mistaken, even Germany does have more procedures going on with the European
argument may
Union.
be that some of the disputes that you're involved in are seen by some of your other member states as more serious.
No, that can be one reason. The other reason can be that these issues where we are in such a debate are more symbolic, more ideological, let's put it this way. And you know me very well. We have met a couple of times. You have already mentioned it. You know our government. We have been in office for 11 years now, 11 and a half. So everybody knows us. Everybody knows that we are a very conservative, Christian, democratic, patriotic type of government, which definitely goes against the international liberal mainstream. And I think the fact that we go against the or opposite to the international liberal mainstream puts us in a focus of the attention. And maybe this is the reason why these debates between Brussels and us are being highlighted so much by some actors.
Okay, latest dispute concerns legislation banning the depiction of homosexuality and gender transition to those under 18. Why do you need this law?
It was not the full spectrum what you have quoted. So we made a regulation which says that the education of the children under the age of 18 regarding sexual orientation and sexual issues is the exclusive right of the parents. This means that direct sexual and pornographic content, promotion of homosexuality, promotion of changing...
That's not pornographic, is it?
There was a comma. So direct pornography, direct sexual content, promotion of homosexuality, promotion of changing gender, these are forbidden when it comes to children. Because, we think it was unacceptable that certain NGOs, LGBT activists, just simply went to schools and kindergartens and started to explain things to our children, which the parents wanted to do themselves, in a way which is suitable for their children, at an age when it's suitable for their children. So no one knows better our children than the parents, right? There's no compromise from our side. So we'll never give up this exclusive right of the parents.
Despite the comments that have come from senior figures in Brussels, the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, shameful. The Netherlands Prime Minister Mark Rutte said following this, your country has no place in the European Union. What's your reaction to that from one of the founding members of the EU and one of the biggest economies in the EU?
Yeah, Mark Rutte suffers from very serious Hungarophobia. This is very clear, putting into consideration his former statements. It is not Mark Rutte to say who is member of European Union, who is not member of the European Union. First, he should deal with his own issues back in the Netherlands. He proved to be unsuccessful in creating a government for long months now. So first do his own job back at home and then comment issues of other countries. And when it comes to Mrs. von der Leyen, I think it is shameful that she speaks about Hungarian legislation this way. European court is about to look into this law because the European Commission launched procedure against us there, and announcing a result of a procedure which has not started yet brings us back to the old dictatorship of communism. So I think this is shameful how she behaved regarding this issue.
It seems now that you're going to have a referendum on this
next
year.
Next year.
And that seems to be a pattern, doesn't it? That your Prime Minister, Viktor Orban, pushes things. He pushes things right to the edge, and then perhaps he gives a little at the end, but takes the gains that he's got in the meantime. That's his way of operating, isn't it?
When you mentioned our debates within the European Union and the criticism of other EU member states towards us, one of the major criticism is, of course, has no, let's say, basis, but that the Hungarian democracy is not well functioning. Now, what is the meaning of democracy? It is that the people do have the right to make their own decision about the future of themselves, future of nation, future of the country. And one of the most direct way of expressing their opinion is referendum. So, challenging the right of the Hungarian people to go on a referendum on such an issue is very anti-democratic. So please respect the decision and the right of the Hungarian people to decide. And
your critics say that the referendum will have leading questions. And let me just put this point to you about democracy.
I don't agree with that.
Let me put this point to you about democracy. The 2020 annual report of Freedom House, the influential NGO, concluded there have been so many steady incursions against Hungarian freedoms, the country no longer met its definition of a democracy.
To be honest, I don't care, because it's not the Freedom House to judge the Hungarian democracy. None of the Freedom House activists have fought for our independence, for our sovereignty. It was us. It was us to fight against occupators. It was us to fight for freedom. It was us to fight for the sovereignty of the country. The Prime Minister who is leading now the country was the first political person to be brave enough to urge the Soviet troops to leave our homeland, So judging Hungarian democracy is not the job of Freedom House activists. And by the way, this organization you mentioned is a politically biased organization. So their statements make no sense because they are not based on facts. Those are based on a political ideology. They are super liberal and they hate what we are doing in our country. But since they are not registered in the Hungarian voters catalog, it doesn't really matter what they say.